Call Hello Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. Actually, with another quick one, and this one we're going to dive in. I have so many, I think I have like 3 videos that I need to do that are queued up, and Call Hello Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai for having a backlog, right? But I saw this just now, a couple of hours ago, and there's a couple of them, and I want to make this into a little mini series about this devil, about Esau being exposed, right? Before, let me get, I have on parts. We need this. Jeremiah 49 and 10. So let's get that. We'll open with that. Actually, hold on. We're in Baruch. Let's just get Baruch real quick. I don't even know how to back out of this. Damn. Okay, let's do it like this. Since we're in Baruch. What is that? Baruch 4 and 6. We're going to start, and then I'm going to go to 49 and 10. Jeremiah 49 and 10. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you move God to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Yahweh. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nourished you. For when she saw the wrath of God coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that dwell about Zion. God hath brought upon me great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. All right. So this is why this is the results of our foolishness. The earth, 1, was given into the hands of the wicked, and 2, that we were to serve punishment under the most vile and the most basest of men, and they will always be who they are. Even if they're cool now, right? Most of them, even if they're cool now, let a catastrophic event such as another Katrina, or like an power outage or something of that nature, they're going to show you their true colors. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10 tells you what? We got to get that too. Let me just get Jeremiah 49 and 10 while we scrolling. All right, 49 and 10 real quick. Here we go. Straight to the point. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. He shall not be able to hide himself, right? And that means he ain't gonna be able to stand with his enchantments either. Eyes are being opened left and right. And it's a couple of videos that I want to do. Maybe I don't know. We'll figure it out. But let's just get through this, okay? His secret places, he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. And what I say, Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach. Is it 12 and 10 or 10 and 12? Yeah, 10 and 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed, and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. All right, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. All right, because who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent? And I find it funny that he specifically used serpent or any that such as come nigh wild beast. All right, and who is equivalent? What man that walks on 2 legs is equivalent to the beast? Those who don't, or to a beast, those who were not giving the law, statutes, and commandments. Right. All right. So let's let it. And this is about the Ryan Coogler thing. So if you haven't watched it, you should check that out as well. So here we go.
Y'all, I just got done watching that Ryan Coogler produced documentary on Hurricane Katrina. And the documentary exposed a lot of things about the government, a lot of things about the local government, and a lot of things about the media. And that's what I want to focus on this video. When I was in college, I took a linguistic anthropology class, and one day in class, our professor had us look at the difference in articles that were written about Hurricane Katrina. Okay, and in one article, it was a picture of a black male leaving a grocery store with food. The headline contained the word looting. In the other article we studied, it was a picture of a white couple, and the title said or alluded to them having to get food to survive. Now, the three people are doing the same thing, but it was framed differently. And that after that class, it made me realize even how subtle that the media is in the narratives they create. And
we gotta get that. Very, very subtle indeed. Now the serpent, is Genesis 3, starting at the top. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Right? You know this. You can read the rest of the story on your own. But see, the very, very slick, very, very sly, very, very smooth how he depicts Jake, and how he depicts himself, and all of the wickedness that they say that Jake does, which Jake is guilty, because we spent so much time around them. They acting like they daddy the devil. But inherently, it is them. And they love to project. And you can see it with the whole, the 10th month of the year and the 7th day of that month of 2023. You know how they like to say that, a bunch of stuff was going on, and, the H group was doing all kind of stuff. And it turns out, right, as usual, the truth comes to light. And it was them doing those wicked, diabolical, detestable acts, and are continuing to do it as well. And they love to throw their hand, to throw rocks and hide their hand, right? They won't turn the camera on you until after they've provoked you to the utmost level of violence. And then they say, look at what they're doing. These savages, these T-words. But they never talk about what led up to that. They never go into all of the things that they've done, because truth be told, the rest of the world is just fine until they go in and until they infect the land like a cancer. What does he do but to steal, kill, and destroy? All right. What else did he say? Hold on. Okay, no. We can keep going.
And even the pictures they use: single, black man, alone, no shirt. Juxtaposed to the other article, white couple. Like, it even goes down to the images. And then we studied the words that were used in both articles. And as you can guess, the wording was very different. And that is what this documentary, one of the things this documentary has showed, is the messaging that was conveyed during Hurricane Katrina, and how false it was in the narratives that they were trying to drive, even as high up as the White House. And it also made me think about just the psychological warfare that Black Americans have had to endure since we got here. Everybody talks about slavery and Jim Crow, and there's a lot of things you could talk about, because many different areas Black people have suffered. If you want to go slavery, you want to go Jim Crow, you want to go housing discrimination, you want to go whatever, we go many different routes.
Yes, all of that, fighting for this country, fighting this devil's wars, World War I. Okay, we came back to what? Pure violence. What was the? It's called the Red Summer. You know, let's get our third reference. Look, what was the Red Summer about? The Red Summer of 1919 was a period of intense racial violence and riots in the U.S., okay? Let's see. Primary between May and October, it involved, you see, mobs attacking our communities, often sparked by racial tensions, economic competition. Why? Because they cannot stand the CJ doing anything well. They can't. They have to. And that is truly a wicked and evil left-handed spirit that the Lord has put on them, all right, for what? For the purpose of us serving our punishment. We have truly seen the utmost wickedness and evil. All right. Sparked by racial tension, economic competition, post-World War I social changes, black veterans returning from the war and asserting their rights faced hostility. How dare you stand up like a man and demand rights just because you fought for this and bled for this country? You still a nigga. Absolutely terrible, disgusting. Where were we at? Migration of black workers to the North Cities fueled white resentment. Chicago race riots, Washington D.C. riots, Elaine, Arkansas massacre. Other riots occurred in cities like Omaha, Nebraska, Charleston, South Carolina, with similar patterns of these white mobs. White mob violence against black communities. The term Red Summer was coined by James Weldon Johnson of the NAACP, reflecting the bloodshed. Over 25 major riots and lynchings occurred, with hundreds killed and thousands displaced. Black communities often resisted, marking a shift towards self-defense and civil rights activism. Okay, so you fast forward a little bit, and then you have the pacification. They want you to want to be around them. Civil rights was the worst thing going, or the integration, should I say. Black communities often resisted making a shift towards self-defense and civil rights activism. Violence exposed a deep racial divide, contributing to the early civil rights. Yeah, so you see. Let me let him finish.
But one thing that we don't talk about enough is the psychological warfare that we have had to endure at the hands of America and the American media, which I think that the psychological aspect of it might be the worst of it, the worst to come out of it, what we've had to deal with. So that's what I took away. One of the main things I took away from this Katrina documentary is that psychological warfare, how these quote unquote colorblind words that are used, but they speak so loudly and they drive the narratives that the media wants to drive. So, I think we need to have that, because we start believing it, right? If we're not careful, we start believing what is put out there. You see black people come on the internet all the time and talk down on their own people, right? And a lot of that is because they accept the messaging about themselves. So if you're not careful, that will be the case. So I would advise y'all to, be mindful of what you read and the intent behind why it was written, because we've had psychological warfare on us since 1619 when we arrived on American land. So yeah, man, if y'all haven't, go check out that documentary. Ryan Coogler did an amazing job, probably the best Katrina doc I've seen thus far. You're going to be a little upset. It's going to make you, because it is an upsetting thing even as 20 years later. But yeah, go check that out. And
yeah, and he made a great point on the portrayal in the media, right? He is the prince and power of the airways, right? Coming from the room speaking lies. Psalms 58:3. I'm going to just get it right here. All right. And we'll read it in a couple versions. It's the NIV. Even from birth, the wicked go astray. From the womb, they are wayward, spreading lies. NLT. These wicked people are born sinners. Even from birth, they have lied and gone their own way. ESV. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray from birth, speaking lies. I don't know what the Berean Standard Bible is. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They lie. The liars go astray from birth, and they love to have it. So they love to paint Jake in a light that actually is reflective of them. So if you have not seen that, I haven't seen it yet either, but I'm gonna watch it, and there may be a couple of part series on the video that we, on the documentary that we can look at and cover. But I think that the point has been made here. Call her lawyer, how about you outside? They're gonna cut this internet off, boy. It's too much. I don't think that they can control how much of the exposing is going on. And it all started with the men of the great millstone, the elders and apostles, great apostle Tahar, even the men before him, I forget, King Mashah, I believe, Elder Abba Bibbins. Okay, and I mean, from Apostle Tahar has been, what is he going on? Almost 40 years in this thing, and you know what? And now the truth is being declared, man. The fruit of the truth, you are seeing it. The internet, is doing most of the heavy lifting. I think it's 2 Ezra 6. 2 Ezra 6:27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. And as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And we are watching it in real time. So there's really nothing else left for this devil to do except to come down with great wrath. He's going to show his horns. He's going to show his colors. That crimson red ass of his, he's finna show it. So with that being said, stay prayed up. On to the next shot.